here and welcome back to another video. So today we're back here for another speed build, and today we're going to go ahead and create this home called Riverside Estate. So if you'd like to go ahead and download this for yourself, it is up on the gallery now. My origin ID is real ThomasTV1. So this is built on the 50 by 40 I think it is, in Brindleton Bay. And this has got 5 bedrooms I think. I can't exactly remember because I did build this about 2 weeks ago, and because I've mentioned this as well in the last couple of builds, but I'm kind of very ahead of my schedule for some reason. Like, I've got no reason to pre-record, but I am just really ahead for some reason. So I'm just kind of left the voiceover until now, so it's a little bit sooner before the video goes up. But I did build this about 2 weeks ago. So like I said, it probably has around 5 bedrooms, but if you go to the gallery and if you want to download it, like I said, there's also a link in the description as well if that's easier for you to kind of download it. But on the gallery, it just says the correct amount of bedrooms and bathrooms, because I always kind of like save it to my library on the gallery just as I'm finished the build, so I go around and count the bedrooms and bathrooms. So you can go ahead and check there if you want. So this home, like I said, I'm going to be classing this, well, this is going up on a Sunday, so if you don't know, I do mansion builds on Sundays. Now, this is a 50 by 40 lot, which in the past, I never would really class this as a mansion. I always said 50 by 50s or 64 by 64s. But kind of, from Get Famous coming out and, in the Pinnacles, there are lot sizes like this, which are still classed as mansions. So it kind of just changed my mindset a little bit. So I'm kind of adding 50 by 40s into my mansion build kind of, idea, I suppose. And also as well, next week I do have another build coming up, which kind of unintentionally used the same wallpaper, the same exterior wallpapers as this build. So it's got like the dark blue and the light blue. Now it's a different themed build, but I just ended up doing that without thinking about it, because like I said, I did do this 2 weeks ago. So I kind of from doing this build, I've done like about 6 or so builds since I did this one, and so I kind of didn't really realise, and I ended up doing the same, and it wasn't until after I'd finished the complete build that I realised that. So hopefully don't mind. I mean, I suppose it doesn't really matter that much, but you know what, if it bothers you, then I'm sorry. So we're just working on one of the bedrooms here. Like normal, I do switch around a lot in my rooms, in the builds, just to keep it more interesting, I suppose. And this one right here is actually probably one of my favourite bedrooms in this build. So you can see that we're using the little fish tank idea that I've done before. So if you don't know, I did this a few builds ago, where I kind of just randomly did this thing of putting like some fish tanks in just a one tile room and then putting windows around it to make like a inbuilt wall fish tank sort of thing. So that's what I did here. And I just really like how it looks. It's adds like more of a modern feel to it, I think. And it kind of just worked really well with this kind of blue colour scheme, so that's what I did this room with as well. And you can kind of say it's a mix of modern and traditional in this home, and especially that room there, as we did have a more traditional wallpaper, but we did have, the more modern bed and the fish tank, and also the marble sort of like table behind the bed as well. So we're just going back to the exterior now and doing a little bit more landscaping. I don't always include a lot of landscaping in my builds, only really if I have the time for it in the build, because a lot of my landscaping processes are the same. You've seen it before, so sometimes I might just show you one little section of it like that, and sometimes I might do a little bit more. I've also got a little fountain area here too, and I've done these quite a lot recently in my builds. It's just a nice way to kind of fill up space and just put another flower bed there, so that's what I've been doing there. And yeah, so it's currently the 7th of February that I'm doing this voiceover on. I know this isn't going up, like I said, until Sunday, which will be, hang on, let me just check what date that'll be, the 10th. So that's kind of a few days in advance. Now, I kind of don't really like to do the voiceovers this far in advance, even though it's only like 3 days, because, with time relevancy, sometimes I might say something, and then by the time the video goes up, it doesn't really matter anymore. So it's kind of like a little bit difficult, because like sometimes I want to say stuff and I'm like, oh well, there's no point now. But recently, well, I think everybody knows this by now, but we did get a new patch update with the Lunar New Year stuff in it, and I haven't done like a build with it yet. Now this was built way before that patch update came out, but I did have a look around at the items, and they do look pretty nice. So maybe I'll do something kind of a little bit different, like an Asian inspired build or something at some point. Not really too sure when, because I'm kind of really ahead of my schedule at the minute, but if you want to see that, then let me know. And yes, so we're back on the interior now, and we're working on the kitchen here. It is pretty simple. It is actually kind of small, actually. Now, this sometimes happens where I kind of have like a mansion and then like a small kitchen, but, if you just have like 1 or 2 counters, you know, free for like putting stuff on and cooking, then you know what, you're fine. So it doesn't really matter that much. Because sometimes I do these ridiculously big kitchens, like the size of houses, which is kind of totally unnecessary really. But you could kind of, you know, make it a little bit bigger if you wanted to by making like an extension or something, or because this room here itself is pretty big, because it's kind of like the dining room and stuff as well. So you could maybe extend it if we really needed to. So we haven't done the dining room yet though, we're going to go back and do that shortly. We're just working on one of the bathrooms here, and these days, well, what I actually used to do was to just show no bathrooms in the build, but I thought, you know what, maybe just show one or two of them. So now what I normally do is I just record one of the bathrooms so you can see what I'm doing, and then I just literally do the same thing for all the other bathrooms. I don't really know what you think about that, but I know a lot of builders do that, is that just bathrooms aren't really that exciting and just not really that good of a room to decorate. So I always do the same thing in every single one of my bathrooms in all my builds. So I suppose I don't really need to include them at all really, because you've seen it a million times by now anyway, but you know, it's there if you want to see it. And also as well, we're putting in another little fish tank area, and it's kind of, I'm just really obsessed with this little thing that I've just discovered, so I'm probably going to overuse it a little bit, but actually, like I said just earlier, I have done about 6 builds or so since this, because this was built a couple of weeks ago, and I don't really remember doing the fish tank thing any more than maybe once, so don't worry if you think I'm going to be kind of really overusing it, because I'm probably not actually. So, again, we're working on the bathroom. I thought I'd cut this out, but okay, there's the second one. Again, it's like similar to the last one. It's literally the same items, this kind of shows you what I mean, why I don't normally include them. But this bathroom was a little bit bigger, and yeah, so we're back downstairs now, all over the place in today's build. And we're doing the dining room now. It is a pretty decent sized space, and when I've got that opportunity, I normally like to put like a bar area and also a piano in. Now, I don't think I put a piano in, but we did get a big bar area here as well. So it's great if your Sims like to have dinner parties and stuff, then you can go ahead and do that. And as you can see there, I put the blue siding behind the bar. I sometimes do that as like feature walls and stuff, but I kind of look back at it later, and I was kind of thinking, well, I don't actually think the blue kind of fits in that well. It's kind of a nice pop of colour, but it kind of just didn't really work that well at all, really. So I did go ahead and change that to a more neutral colour, because sometimes what I do is, as you can see here, the stone from the outside of the build I kind of bring inside, like here, and I also do that sometimes with siding as well, because it can look nice in particular areas. So that was kind of what I did there, but it didn't, you know, it doesn't always work. So this room right here, as you can see, is the study, and you know, pretty simple. Got some bookshelves. I've put an easel in there as well. I don't know why, but I always tend to forget to put easels in for some reason. I don't really know what it is really, but there was a space for it in the study, so I thought I'd go ahead and put it there because it kind of fits in well with the study, I suppose. And this is another one of the bedrooms. Again, kind of more of a neutral colour scheme. I actually really like these cats and dogs curtains. I always seem to go for the seasons one these days. Sorry, that didn't make sense. The seasons one. I think I said season. The seasons ones, and they just kind of, you know, they just work well with a lot of different colour schemes. But the cats and dogs ones are a little bit more traditional looking, and sometimes they do. Sometimes I want a more traditional look, and that's the ones I tend to go for. So now we're working on the garage, and as you can see, I am using the blue siding inside this build. Well, this building, the room. Now, I was just saying before how it didn't really look right, but with garage doors, I kind of make an exception because I kind of think it looks right to have the front of the garage door on the inside, because that's what it would normally be like. So that's what I did there. And then this room right here is one of the living rooms. I think there are a couple actually. So this is, yeah, I'm pretty sure there is. So this one right here is more of like the relaxed family room sort of one. And this is kind of in the diagonal bit at the front of the build, as you would have saw on the thumbnail at the right. So diagonals are a bit of a pain sometimes, especially when it comes to furnish them. One piece of advice though, do never do a kitchen on a diagonal, because it just always turns out to be a mess. I learned that the hard way, because one time I did a kitchen in a diagonal room, and it honestly was a mess. The counters wouldn't go to the end of the walls, and there was big gaps everywhere. It just looked a mess. So I don't really think I'm going to be doing a kitchen in diagonal rooms anymore unless I have to, but it's still a bit of a pain anyway, doing like any type of furnishing in a diagonal, because the way you want them to kind of, the items to clip to, you know, wherever it is, it never really goes right. So sometimes it is a bit of a pain, but I managed to work here, managed to get it to work there. Sorry, I'm a mess today. Anyway, so we're just working on another little seating area here. I sometimes kind of divide the room off into like separate seating sections, I suppose, if the room's kind of a big area. So this one's kind of in front of another bar area, and that kind of like the fish tank thing again. And then on the other side of the room here, we've kind of got the fireplace with the TV above it. And yeah, so we're just going back again to do a little bit more landscaping. Again, I'm kind of just doing the same thing. I always use those kind of like low-lying yellow flower plants. I can't remember what they're called, those things right there. I put those as the base, and then I go with those bulbous bush things, I think they're called, and then those little white hydrangeas and the kind of palm plants, and then I put a few smaller ones in. If you want to learn more about landscaping and my full process of how I do it, then I do actually have a landscaping tutorial up as well. I have mentioned this in the last couple of builds, but if you don't know, if you can't find it, then it might be because I did it a little while ago. So the easiest way to find it, I think, is just to go to my channel and use the search bar and just type in landscaping or landscaping tutorial, and you should find it pretty easily there. Because I do get a lot of questions about landscaping, and that's why I made that video. So instead of like, you know, explaining the same thing over and over again, I can kind of just say, you know, go and watch this video, because then I can kind of put in more detail than answering, you know, a person's question on Twitter or something. Then there's just a full video there. So we're just working again on the exterior here in the kind of backyard area. It's a pretty decently sized pool there as well, and we've also got like the hot tub area, and I've been doing that a little bit more recently, the hot tubs. I don't know why, but I kind of forgot to do them for a while for some reason, and now I've started doing them again, and actually putting the dividers from, well, the ones I like to use are the ones from Dine Out, and kind of putting those behind the hot tub is kind of make it a little bit more enclosed, because places I've been which have had hot tubs, like when I've went on holiday and stuff, like in lodges and stuff, when sometimes it's like more than one lodge in the same area, they kind of use dividers like that wall, like divider walls and stuff behind them to kind of for privacy. So it kind of, you know, reminds you of that a little bit. So we're just working on one of the other bedrooms here. This one is a pretty decently sized one, so we did manage to fit in a nice little living room area into it, I suppose. And also as well, I used that little plant there. I think that's from the Caribbean update, and for some reason I've never ever used it before. So I thought I'd go ahead and use it today, for just because I just wanted to see what it looked like. For some reason I just never used it, so yeah, I don't know if it fits in perfectly, but I just kind of wanted to see what it looked like. So I think this is actually the last room, or maybe the second last room that we're working on here, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this voiceover. I really hope you enjoyed this video. In the comment section down below, let me know about what you thought of it. If you have any more ideas for builds or mansions or anything else you want to see next, that'd be really helpful to hear. Leave a like, share and subscribe if you haven't, and you can go ahead and download this from the gallery. My origin ID is real Thomas TV1, and there will be a link down below as well if that's an easier way for you to download it, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!